Hello everybody, welcome to this new training on Citrix ADC, Citrix Netscaler. I know that a lot of you ask me to do this training, so this is the good day. So we'll see a lot of aspect about Citrix Netscaler. So this is the first lecture and we will see what is Netscaler. So this is the presentation of what is Netscaler for and why do you need it for your company, for your network. So first of all, Citrix ADC is an application switch. So it's an intelligent distribution, optimized and secure layer 4 through layer 7 network traffic. And the Netscaler is doing the most functionality, of course, of the Netscaler is three things. The first thing that you have, of course, is acceleration. So acceleration here, you have Netscaler and you have people connecting outside your company, for example, and you want them to be able to access your backend here server. So you need a way to do acceleration. Acceleration is really very important because with that, you will be sure that your customer will be happy and will have a good response about your application here. The second thing is availability. Of course, availability is one of the most important thing, of course, and security. So this is the three aspect. We'll cover all this to see all this of the future that Netscaler give you. And of course, remember that the Netscaler it's depending about your license. So maybe you will not have all this feature on. Okay, it depends about the license. So first of all, we will see the first feature is availability. So availability is very important because, of course, the Netscaler will improve application availability. And one of the most important and the most used is, of course, load balancing. Okay, load balancing feature will distribute your user request for your web page and other application, of course. And you use load balancing primarily to manage user requests to heavily user application. And of course, one of the most important is to prevent poor application response. Okay, so this is important. And they will load balance on server that have the same content. Okay, this is important. So if you have the same content somewhere, you can load balance, for example, website. You can load balance DNS, LDAP, SQL, and you will use a monitor to check if the service is up. Okay, this is important. So the first thing that he will check if the service is up, and if the service is up, of course, he will balance all your requests or the user requests on this server. For example, here you have somebody was coming from the internet, and here you have a virtual server here, and for example here you have a load balancing here. Load balancing, this is content switching. Okay, we'll see that after. But imagine you have only load balancer, or here load balancer. This is a good example. Sorry, and what is happening is that he will, for example, user will connect to the Netscaler, and the load balancer will load balance the load on your server. And the first thing that you do is that you create a service, and the service is the port you're using and what type of application you are hosting on this server. And after you have the monitor. The monitor is to be sure that your application is working correctly before sending the request on this server. For example, you can monitor a web page, or you can monitor for example, for DNS, an entry in the DNS, or for LDAP. So this is really load balancing. After, we have the content switching. And this is very, very nice. Okay, this is content switching here. And content switching is for example, people come from outside, and in content switching, you can say, for example, okay, let's say that all people coming from England, I will redirect them to load balancer. We will load balance, for example, a page for the English language. Or you can do a content switching. We will load balance content, for example, iPhone or Android, or like you want. So content switching is really a way to present content in different language to the speaker of those language. So you may want to present content tailored, for example, to specific device such as smartphone or this sort of device. This is a very nice way, the content switching. This is quite amazing. After, in the availability, we have of course the IPv6 support. So the IPv6 support on Citrix ADC support both server-side and client-side IPv6 and can function, of course, as a IPv6 node. After, you have the traffic domain. Traffic domain is a way to create multiple isolated environment within a Citrix ADC. This is very, very nice. And we have the GSLB. The GSLB is something that load balance in a one directing the client to the closest or best data center. So you can think about, you have, for example, one here, Netscaler in data center A, can be, for example, in New York, and another one here in England. So depending, of course, where the user are, they will load balance the request on this Netscaler. So this is something amazing because it's GSLB, and GSLB is something very, very, very terrific. After, you have other feature, like in the availability, you have, for example, search protection. Okay, so what is search protection? Is when a client requests overload a server response becomes slow. If you have a lot of people who are coming, so the server becomes slow, and the server is unable to respond to the new request because they have too many requests. So the search protection feature will ensure that connection to the server occur at a rate that the server can handle. So you be sure that the server will not go down. And the response rate depends on how search protection is configured. After, you have priority queuing, it's replaced now in Netscaler 13 with the APPQoE feature. So the priority queuing feature lets you filter incoming HTTP traffic on the basis of category that you create and define, and you can do priority. And priority queuing direct high priority requests to the server ahead of low priority requests. So you be sure that user who need resources for important business receive expedited access to your protected web server. So this is a very nice feature, priority queuing and search protection. Okay, now we talk about acceleration. Wow, with acceleration, there is so many features in Netscaler. So we have, for example, the PRR. So the PRR is an algorithm, and it will reduce web latency caused by packet loss. And TFO, TCP fast open, enables speed and safe data exchange between client and server during initial handshake. So this is a way to do really faster connection. After that, you have APP compress. So of course, APP compress is the compression feature in Netscaler, and enable Netscaler to compress HTTP response to compression aware browser. So virtually all current web browsers are able to translate compression HTTP data, and Netscaler server is configured to compress text in HTML, XML, plain text, CSS, and Microsoft Office document. After, you have app cache. App cache is a cache, so the hard disk of the Netscaler is used to provide in-memory storage in Netscaler appliance to content without requiring a round trip to the origin server. So this is like cache. Cache, you are using that every day. So Netscaler can do cache also, of course. Security. Wow, so many things to speak about security. I will do a special training on security, but for the moment, we'll see some of the aspects of the security. So Citrix ADC and protection feature protect web application from application layer attacks. So an ADC appliance allow legitimate client requests and can block malicious requests. It provides a built-in defense against denial of service attacks and support feature that protect against legitimate search, of course. Enable built-in firewall, so the firewall protect application from application layer attack, like for example Overflow Explorer, SQL injection attack, cross-site scripting attacks, and more. So really, the firewall is something amazing. For example, you can protect your MasterCard, Visa card. So for example, if you have a website and for example you have you are storing a MasterCard, you must follow ISO. MasterCard and Visa card, they created a compliance for that, so that they will hide all your MasterCard. This is something really very, very nice. After that, we have the front-end and TCP optimization. This is something amazing. I use it a lot. This is really to reduce the load, okay? And how they will reduce the load by, of course, using a lot of techniques here. So the goal is to reduce the number of requests required for rendering each page and reducing the number of bytes in page response, of course. So for that, we're using a lot of feature. We're using, for example, image optimization. So image optimization is a technique, for example, that will reduce the load, of course. And image optimization is something very powerful in Netscaler, because we reduce, of course, the size of the image. So and this is also very, very nice. We have also the style sheet and JavaScript. So they're able, of course, to compress also this sort of data and to do compression of that. So they're doing a lot of compression for that. We have the multipass TCP, and we have also, of course, the big cubic and westwood TCP congestion control. So this is compression, and we have some feature, like for example Nile and West Nile TCP performance. It's very nice for 3G and 4G connection. All this is to make all the things very, very powerful. So yes, Nile algorithms are really very powerful. Okay, so I will stop now this first video, and we will see in the next one the platform. Okay, the platform, the different way that you can install the Netscaler. Thank you for all. See you in the next lecture. Bye bye.